Norman Vincent Peale once said, "Empty pockets never held anyone back. Only empty heads and empty hearts can do that." Our speaker today emulates that philosophy of Norman Vincent Peale. Vern Henricks' goal every day is to make a difference in the lives with whom he interacts. Vern's successful 32-year career as a fundraising professional began with his passion for baseball. And we could take a long time and tell good stories about baseball, but that's not our point today. His success as a baseball coach extended into fundraising and leadership in youth, as well as collegiate level sports. Vern has played a leadership role in major campaigns ranging from $50 to $500 million at 3 different universities, including the University of Pittsburgh, Iowa State, and Kansas State. He feels strongly that fundraising is about building relationships and helping others achieve their goals. Vern's been focusing his talents on the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation since 2013. Vern is the president and CEO of our community foundation and has increased its asset base from $35 million to $58 million in the past 3 years. Fellow Rotarians, please welcome Vern Henricks as he tells us more about the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation. Vern, glad to have
you. A little concerned when he started talking about empty heads there a second. So. It's a pleasure to be up here and share the Community Foundation with you. I feel like in some cases, many of you have heard this before, but you'll get the full spiel anyway. And it's an exciting time. Sean, you know, I share your thoughts and feelings from many places and from many people. I could sit up here and tell many stories. Scott, you know, I lost a brother last year from cancer, so way to touch a chord right away here this year. And you know, some of my travels here and some of the things that I've done in the community have, you know, probably one of the touchiest ones was when I had a young couple a couple years ago asked for a little work. I gave them a little work, and when it was over with, they told me that they were raising funds so that they could take their child, their 2-year-old, to St. Jude's Hospital because he was dying from cancer, and later he did. And they came back and wanted a little bit more money so they could pay for his casket. So talk about touching the chord. Then next year they came back and I hadn't seen him for a long time, and she came to me and she said, "Do you remember me?" And I kind of hesitated, and I said, "Well, I think so." And she goes, "Well, I'm the one that remember my son." And I said, "Oh yeah." And she showed me a picture. She got her phone out and she showed me a picture of the sky. And essentially, she says, "You see him?" And I said, "Yes, I do." She goes, "He's watching us." And man, this is not the way I planned to start this. But it is exactly what the Community Foundation is doing. We're building relationships so that individuals can match up together. I tell people in so many ways, fundraisers as a whole, we're the original Match.com. I mean, we basically are bringing individuals together that have resources but don't know where to give it in the most impactful way, to individuals that have needs and really don't know how to pull it together. You know, I have to take my hat off to Phil Howe. You know, what he did from an impact, not only this last week, but the last 4 years and the many years, but the personal relationship that we've kind of developed and the care that he has for this community is absolutely second to none in any community, and I'll show you a little bit more about that later. But Bill, God bless you, and thank you for all you do. Well, you already know I wear all my emotions right on my sleeve, and so I apologize for a little bit about that. I'm going to go through some things fairly quickly here because we are your community foundation. Our mission, like I said, is we build relationships between donors and community needs. The kinds of things that we do every day are, as your foundation, are really to try to make this community a better place. There's 3 of us. I tell every fund holder, every person I meet from the Community Foundation that we are their staff. We are your staff. You know, early on, you know, when I took this position, people would ask me, well, what's the community foundation do? And I kept hearing myself tell the story, well, we raise money, we invest money, and we give it away. And so essentially with a 3-person staff, that kind of was the inspiration to put this on our website. The fact that, you know, myself, the community connector, and Marla is the finance person and works with the investments, and the managers, and then Elaine gives it away. Elaine's been there the longest time, and Marla came shortly for me. But truly 2 amazing, outstanding individuals. We have some board members here that know that, and my hat's off to what they do. Our governance structure, very quickly, we have 114 trustees. It's like Rotary, they come and go a little bit as they're retired. We have 11 executive board members, 13 committees, 57 new young trustees. Matter of fact, we have our Young Trustee of the Year over here in Allison. And there's 3.5 staff. Now, where does the half person come in? The Wamego Community Foundation just came on as an affiliate for us. And with that, they had a staff person over there that we took on as a staff person. She was working half-time, and she has become a half-time employee of ours because she provides the financial backup for Marla that we needed in our office. So we're excited about having her there. This is our website. It's a pretty busy website, but I believe that people have 2 clicks in their system before they get bored and go someplace else. So there's a lot of information here that hope you can see it from the get-go, so that it'll take you where you don't have to click more than twice from that standpoint. Partnerships that we have with Community Foundation, Dover and Frankfurt were affiliates when I took on this role. Marysville came on board last year in December. Sabetha came on board this December, and Wamego just came on board here in February. There are other communities that have expressed some interest in being a part of our affiliate program. What's an affiliate? What's that mean? Essentially, they have no staff. We become their 501c3. We become their functioning office, but they have a website, they have a function, a shingle in their community, and we want their community members to know that their money is theirs in their community. I'm a big believer that every community, no matter how small or large, should have a community foundation shingle, so that with this transfer of wealth in Kansas and beyond, that it stays in their community and does things in their community. Donovan County, I recently was up there talking to them about the affiliate program, and somebody at K-State just did a recent survey that said that more money leaves Donovan County than any other county in the state of Kansas, and they had just lost an $8 million estate just settled, and nothing stayed in the county, and so they're very interested in doing something there as well. That affiliate program provides $3.3 million in assets for our community foundation, totals of which you'll see more of a little bit later, and each one of them are listed there. The supported organizations, we have 2, the Goldstein Foundation, the Howe Family Foundation, and then a holding tank called the Little Apple Community Foundation, in case somebody has a need for a supporting organization right away. We set it up, and so it's just kind of there laid and waiting, so that we don't have to go through the legal work if we need to. The total assets of those 2 organizations are $31.3 million, so those 2 alone are half of what the Community Foundation assets are, and we're grateful for that. So obviously 2 great Rotarians, Jack Goldstein and Phil Howe, that are members of this club. So how do we stack up? There are 80 plus community foundations in Kansas. About a third of them have a staff person, so there's a lot of affiliate community foundations in that mix. But of the community foundations, now I've eliminated Kansas City. You know, they live on the Missouri side, they call themselves Kansas, but they're the 4th largest community foundation in the nation at $1.4 billion. And so they've had great success there. But you take Kansas City out and you throw the rest in the pot. Salina's there at 151, about 50 million of theirs is affiliate assets. The Greater Wichita Community Foundation is, the last number I could get from them was 2014, and they were at 68.9. We're the 3rd largest at 57.4. This was December 31 numbers, and then Hutch, Topeka, and Douglas fall under there from that standpoint. So we are growing, and we've moved up the rank couple here in the last few years, and so we continue to grow through that process through the generosity of people like yourself. Kansas City is basically viewed by many across the nation as one of the most philanthropic communities in the country. My goal and intention is to make Manhattan that in the Kansas area in itself. Where do we sit? This is how you see the last 5 years and where we are today. Today we're at 60,024,000. That does not include the second half of the deal funds. So when that transfer gets completed, you know, that'll add another 5+ in that process, we think. So we're well on our way to growing each time, and we're excited about that whole process. The Grow Green Match Day, the timing of this presentation and the inspiration last week couldn't have been any better. Here again, Phil, I appreciate you so much, and this community has to appreciate you. We started Grow Green Match Day in 2013 with 24 nonprofits participating. How do they have to participate? They have to have an endowment of $10,000 at the Community Foundation before they can participate in the match day. Why that? Well, the Kansas Association of Community Foundation, when they started, or when the Kansas Health Foundation kind of started a lot of these community foundations, they had some challenge grants. So in 1999, they offered Manhattan a $300,000 challenge grant that the community matched, and so we had a $600,000 pot of funds to kind of be a support base for the community foundation and operate it. That has come to the point 3 years ago, we no longer have to touch any of those funds to operate the foundation. Basically, we have a $500,000 plus funds just for operational purposes, but we are a self-sustaining organization right now, and we appreciate having that that set of funds to help us out there. Well, we took that same theme with our nonprofits, build their foundation and whole in the basis. So on match day, gifts to these nonprofits go into their endowments, and the match that Phil makes goes into their operating funds. Now, surprisingly enough, several of them actually turn around and put that in their endowments too, because they see and have noticed the value of the endowment proposition to them, and so we're excited about helping them out. Well, you can see the growth. 14, we raised $228,000. That was a year that Phil took the limit of $40,000 off, and so thus the trail for me to squeeze him. So appreciate that. So the next year we had raised $244,000. Well, last Friday the total was $289,174. So that match number there is $140,000. We don't know the number exactly yet, Phil. We have to go through all the stuff, but that's basically going to be in the neighborhood. Why is that not exactly 50% on the match? Well, organizations can only be matched 10,000 max, and so once anything raised over $20,000 is not a matchable amount anymore, and only gifts between $25 and $1,000 are matched. We get some transfers of stock that become $1,100 or something like that, and so those numbers don't get matched. And so once we get through all the tallying, we will know more. But truly an amazing day for the community to raise over $400,000 in one day for the nonprofits. And this year, 46 nonprofits took part in the process, and I've had 2 or 3 already talk to me about next year. So it's one of those things. This day is building the relationships between the donors of this community and the nonprofits in the community, and that's what we feel our mission statement is. Community Foundation Awards, I don't know how many of you attended, but we held our 3rd Community Foundation Awards and annual meeting combination. Obviously, the Lifetime Contribution Award went to Lincoln and Dorothy Deal, and we're very grateful for their estate that they left the foundation. That estate, once it's invested and we have it a year, and so in 2017, there will be in the neighborhood of probably $450,000 to $500,000 that might go into the community for arts, basic human needs, and youth programs. How that is going to be split out, the board hasn't decided yet. We're going to meet here shortly. It's my pledge to any donor, any fund holder that works with us is that their interests are followed. And so consequently, in the case of the deals, they had funds with us, and so we knew their interest ahead of time, but not to the level of the estate that they left. And so our plans are to certainly make sure that we know where the deals supported programs, because we want to continue that support for them. And we also want to rally the people. I've kind of got a task force put together that knew the deals, because we want to make sure that we're honoring their wishes, even beyond what was written in the their agreement to us, we want to honor their wishes and the emotions of the plans that we move forward. But quite frankly, you know, arts, basic human needs, and youth, I mean, what have they left out to make this community a pretty amazing place? So we're excited about that. There are more like that, and we're excited to, as the world goes forward. Grants distributed, 2015, you can see the grants that we have. We gave $1.8 million away. That number continues to grow. How that falls out, we have our spring grants program, we have our Yes campaign, we have our high school youth program, Youth and Back in Community, scholarships, donor advised funds, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more, and then the two supporting organizations. The match gift that Phil makes is not in these. The match gift, Phil, is made straight to the nonprofits, and that doesn't total up here. So, and the fiscal sponsors. We started a new program called the Manhattan Community Memorial Fund. Many times individuals pass, they want to leave a memorial gift in some way, shape, or form. Nobody knows what the size of that memorial is going to be. Sometimes it becomes $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000, not a huge amount. So what we have decided to do is to offer the opportunity to memorialize these individuals on the website, in the funeral homes, and so that we combine some of these smaller funds together, and so the individuals will be memorialized with gifts from this fund as a complete group and not necessarily have to just live on the amount that was given to them individually. So we're excited about that. Current fiscal sponsor. What's a fiscal sponsor? We become the nonprofits of these entities here. They don't have to go through the paperwork of filing to get a 501c3 status. We are their 501c3. You know, our board has approved that process, so we become their staff. They can raise money. Some of these projects are terminal projects, like the East Bridge project. They raised money for 3 or 4 years. It's being built up, and so there no longer will be a need for a fiscal sponsorship there unless they do the West Bridge or something. But all of these are fiscal sponsors that we are their 501c3 for them. Administrative fees. We're excited. A few years ago, our administrative fee was 1% across the board for all funds that we managed. A year ago, we dropped that to any funds over $1 million to 5, drops down to 0.6%. The next 5 million to 0.3%. If you did an effective rate of those fees, a $5 million gift, the effective rate is 0.68. A $10 million fee is 0.49. We are within another year, I think, that we will drop those fees again, and it's my pledge to all of our fund holders that we will continue dropping them. There is not a need for our foundation to get large in its expenses, so the more that we can do for the community, the more the community partners with us, the more we'll give back through this fee structure, so those funds can continue to do more charitable work as we go forward. How do you make a donation? Go to our website. You can see where to make a donation. Every one of our 224 funds are listed there, so you can scroll down. If you're interested in arts, you can look at the arts area. If you're looking at basic human needs, you can go for there. You can make a gift right online. I'm going to show you something for some of you financial planners. We have something up there called Gift Illustrator. It's on our website. You look there. You can see that you have some options. So you, from your home, can kind of get into this philanthropic mode a little bit and decide maybe what you want to do. You're into charitable gift annuities, so all you got to do is kind of plug in your age, figure out kind of what you might want to do, and give you an example without having to go to anybody. We have advisors that are using this for themselves. That's why we put it out there for them as well. If you want to make an outright gift and you want to see the value, what you might, the benefits of it, you can do that. If you want to make a retained life estate gift, you know, here again, you can use that example. Just go to our website and you can see how that operates. Donor Central. We moved into a new era for our fund holders this year. We purchased a software package called Donor Central. In the past, when somebody wanted to make a distribution from their account, they had to fax something or call our office and we would do it. Now you can sit in your jammies at home and you can make that distribution yourself. You just click. We just have to have you signed up in there. Basically, it's a brand new Donor Central. You get your funds. It can tell you exactly, if you pick your fund, tell you exactly what your balance is. You go in there, and this is a dummy case, but a fund summary, so it tells you how many grants you've paid, how many contributions you've made to the program, what's your balance. what your spendable balance might be. So if you're a nonprofit, you have that fund too. You know, in this case, grants paid, you can see a listing of all the grants that you've paid during your lifetime. Contributions, all the contributions that you've made or received during your lifetime. And if you want to recommend a grant, you can go in there. You all, if you're kind of looking, if there's not a match day right now for you and you're kind of looking for something to do and you're not quite sure, you can pick up, okay, I want something in arts. You can put some keywords in here for arts, and all the funds that we have or all the organizations for arts, you know, kind of pop up right there. So here's some examples that might fall under, you know, if you just put the letter A in, you can get some things going. This is the recommendation grant form. If you have a fund, or if you're a donor advised fund and you want to make a distribution, you know, send $1,000 to the charity of your choice. You let us know. Marla gets that on her computer. She basically processes it and gets it out the next day. We keep $500,000 in cash on a regular basis so that all of our fund holders can make immediate distributions to the charities of their choice, but they can also take advantage of being in the market investments. Once we send that money out, then Marla will rebalance it so it all evens out later. But we want our nonprofits to not have to live CD to CD every 30 days just so that they can have kind of a scheduled operating fund balance. We want to make sure that they know that they've got funds available for us, and that's a service we offer them at that stage. So a little bit about donor advised funds. In my view, they're the latest, greatest thing since sliced bread. A donor advised fund is like having an independent private foundation within the community foundation with none of the costs. And you get 3 staff members, 3.5 staff members to boss around and tell you what to do. They allow you to make donations right away. If they get to be invested, you can redirect them at a later date. Donor advised funds are popular at the end of the year when somebody's risen with their tax person and they find out that, you know, listen, you need to make a charitable gift of a size that they weren't planning for. Well, if you haven't been thinking of a charity what you're going to give a large gift to, and you don't really want to give that charity that large a gift, put it in a donor advised fund, and then you can slice it and dice it out of there as you wish, and it makes life much easier for you. There's no setup fee. You name the fund, you name the successor. If you want to start a donor advised fund and you want your children to take care of it after you pass, that's great. You can determine all of that stuff, and then you just decide incrementally how much you want to give to the charities of your choice. If you had to put $100,000 in, if you had some kind of a sale or a transaction, you can give it out at $5,000 a year or none a year, and give it out, you know, $100,000 later in life. This could be for businesses and individuals as well. So consequently, you got your choice both ways. They're tax efficient, highly convenient, and remarkably simple. So if you're interested in something like that, please come see me. Working with the Community Foundation, we try to make it very simple in the process. We are your staff. You're not giving us your money. We are partnering with you to help you with your charitable needs. One thing that a lot of people like to take advantage of is when you give through a community foundation, you have the anonymous factor there. If you want to give to a charity and you don't want them to know who you are or where it's coming from, we can give it anonymously. And so that's a value that you can't get from a private foundation. We also provide that accountability, just like the example that I gave of the deal gift. We want to make sure that our board, our staff, our auditors are making sure that their wishes are carried through through the centuries beyond for the difference that they want to make in Manhattan. So, with that in mind, when we're talking with advisors, an example was given me not too long ago. If somebody is thinking about doing something with their estate, if no questions are asked, that person, probably 5% of those people will leave something to a charity. If the question is asked to them, are there any charities you wish to give, that percentage goes up to maybe 10%. If the question's asked, what charities do you wish to give to, 15% of them give to charitable causes. So what we're trying to do is promote the fact of have the conversation of what charitable acts or charities do you want to support in that transition time frame when people are making those end-of-life decisions. So think about it. Any questions or any thoughts you need anytime, we're there. We want to be the charitable network and resource for everybody, whether you're on the receiving end or the giving end for our community and beyond. God bless you all, and thank you for being here today. So.